Okay, so last call for proxies. Anybody got them? Want to turn them in?
That being the last call, would that be?
Okay.
Good.
All right, may I have the total, please?
Okay, we had a total of 1,092 proxies received, which establishes the quorum we need for the meeting, so we can proceed. You can call the meeting to order.
We'll call the meeting to order. And we have the
Okay, so those who voted in favor, 276. Those who voted against, 816. So with the majority not in favor, the proposed minimum does not pass.
Okay. So now we have a result on our proxy vote, and we're going to move forward with that in mind. Do we have any resident comments on this issue?
I just like to.
You want to, Rich? You want to come up to the podium and make a comment?
Hi, it's Rich Benson from Portofino. We've all been very anxious about this vote, as you can see the attendance here. And I would just be interested in the board's thoughts on the results of this vote that's occurred. I'm sure you've been thinking about it. It might come out one way or the other. So any thoughts would be welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Anybody on the board have a comment?
I would just like to say we represent all the residents, and that's what we all were elected for, and we appreciate your turnout, and we want to get back to being the wonderful community that we are because of all of you. Thank you.
I would just like to say, I'd like to echo Pat's sentiment and say that this has been a really, really difficult time for the community. The last few months have been difficult for residents and the staff alike. Sadly, the community center has been, the feeling here has been kind of grim the last month or so. Coming to work has been difficult for some of them because there's been a lot of anger in the community, a lot of suspicion. And I think that we can see from the result here that these people work really hard for us. They are dedicated, they are wonderful people, really competent, nice people. And I think we all owe them our respect and our continued appreciation. With that, having said that, I would tell you that the board as a whole is delighted to have this vote behind us. And we are prepared to move forward with the community's desire to have no food and beverage minimum this year. Any other comments?
My name is Alfred Steffen from Tiburon. I would like to give a few words regarding the voting procedures applied for the voting on the food minimum. Frankly, I found them more than unusual. They may not have been illegal, but to my understanding, they were not overwhelmingly active. Incoming votes should have been deposited in a sealed or locked ballot box and not in an open. The ballot box will then be opened after the voting deadline. Only then should they be counted in the presence of vote watchers and not be counted as they come in. I know of some residents who are opposed to the procedures, but were told that this was the way the board had instructed. The procedures applied could have given room for speculation, and you mentioned it. There's something fishy could be going on. We all want to avoid that and should therefore follow very strict procedures in future when we meet, hopefully not too often, another vote. Thank you.
Okay, I do.
Okay, my name is Barbara Chickpelli and I live in Claremont. Do you have to give my specific address?
No.
The Claremont Drive, over in Claremont.
Sure.
And I have to tell you, I can talk to any one person individually, but this is very difficult for me. But I've been thinking about this for a while and I feel I have some things that I'd like to just get off my chest. First of all, thank you to everyone who's on this board because you are volunteers. And I know we've had some difficult issues in the past, and I thank you for your work and your interest, whatever decision you make. But I think this whole matter for me, and I've been listening to some Zoom meetings because I've been out of state, but to me, this whole thing boils down to transparency and accountability. And I voted against the minimum because not that I can't afford it, has nothing to do with money. It has, I believe that number of $1 million, or whatever it was based on the numbers of our past operator, Crave, who, if this community had transparency in their financials, would see that there are some things that I believe we need to question. And it's not to go back in time, it's to learn how to oversight how we spend we have hard-earned money, how we spend our money as a community. So I don't want the board or anyone to think going forward, if we see that an operator does his her due diligence and is an excellent marketer, takes care of their supplies, does everything that they should, does everything in their willpower to make it a success, then I can only speak for myself. I would gladly give them. But for me to give my money based on somebody's numbers that I feel are totally baseless, and I know things change. We had COVID. I understand that. But I also understand in a business, your environment is always dynamic. A good business person changes with their environment, adapts. You don't stand there and say, oh, I have no labor. Oh, this menu, like you have to be constantly creative. So going forward, I hope we find a real restaurateur, because to ask a caterer to be a restaurant is like asking a dentist to do neurosurgery, in my mind. Totally different, Steve, it's true. Totally different way. If you talk to any restaurateur, no way after you say a caterer, and I have. So going forward, I hope that we find somebody who's willing to change with life changes, the market changes, the demographic changes, and just give us, because we all want it, or we wouldn't be here. We want it, but we want the right operator. So that's my piece.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Linda Enright. I live in Ariel. I just want to say that this is clearly being a very contentious issue for the community. And I have received so many unsolicited emails from people who wish to express their opinion on how they thought I should vote. I appreciate getting emails from the foundation who legally has my email address. Then there are people I know personally who would send out a note and attach many other names saying, we really think you should vote this way. And the next thing, I'm getting emails from somebody I don't even know from Adam saying, here's how I think you should vote on this issue. So now that this is all said and done, what I'd like to ask is those of you who grabbed emails from emails that were circulating, can you please delete those email lists, or at the very least, take my name off your email list? I don't want to be getting unsolicited emails from people in the community if I don't know who you are. And whether I agree with your position or not is not the point. It's the fact that you're using my email improperly. Thanks.
Are there any other resident comments? Yes.
Let the gentleman.
So we have the vote now, but I think everybody knows that we are not yet out of the woods, because we have made an investment of 900,000, 930. I was agreed, by the way, 50% over budget, 600, and we have to decide to do this. I know that we are looking for somebody who would do the restaurant or do the bar or whatever it is in the end at his own risk. And I would like to really urge you to stick to that decision, not that the club, that the Pelican Marsh Foundation does not run the risk of a restaurateur. This is not our business. If we find somebody who is willing to run that risk and would nevertheless be extremely careful, start low profile, with short opening hours during the day, close down during summer months, offer basic services only with a small menu. And if that works, we can do the next step by offering more services, maybe. But if we realize it doesn't work at all, don't make any gymnastics to keep it ongoing. We have to be prepared to take the ultimate risk and sell the kitchen or whatever is sellable and write off the other assets that we have invested. It will cost us money. It will cost us probably an assessment for the residents, but this is a one-time kickoff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to make a Jonathan Swift modest proposal. My modest proposal to this board is that we become landlords. We get a triple net lease and we rent the space to whoever wants to run it. Let them make their $1 million. We don't care. We get our rent. We get a return on investment. And that's my modest proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I just had one quick question. I think you can all hear me.
The people on Zoom can't hear you.
Good afternoon. I'm Mary Beth Greco and I'm in Montclair. I had one quick question regarding the catering service that is no longer with us. I never heard if it was their choice to leave or if they were asked to vacate the premises. So I just wanted to know how we no longer have them. That's it.
Okay. Well, in a nutshell, we felt they were underperforming on the contract. We asked them to for a termination. They agreed and they left.
What do they say? That's what I'm saying.
Pardon me? Pay them? We
Yeah,
didn't
but
pay
was
them
there
any.
compensation? Like, did you pay them the 3 months of the contract
No.
that were remaining?
No.
So you only paid them to the date they left?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Did it go lower?
You must come forward. We can't, the Zoom people can't hear you unless you're speaking in the mic.
My name is Marla Oppenstein. I live at Claremont. My question is, there was a negotiated management fee for $6,250, not in writing from what we gathered. Is that what we paid as the management fee for the last month or two, or did we pay $12,000?
First of all, it wasn't writing, and second of all, it was 6,250 from July onward,
And what date did we terminate our,
October 7th.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay. That concludes the business of the meeting. I'll call for adjournment. May I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Are we voting?